Alright, we're back. Had to go get my socket for holding this together. Okay, take the two bushes off so you don't lose them. Okay, you go up and finish up this side of the tranny over here. Use the hammer to hold it where you want it to be. So go ahead and put the kicker gear in here. Crap off everything. So this goes in here. And if you put too much tension on this spring, it'll eat up the bushing in here all the time and tear up the kicker gear. So be careful about that. Make sure you put lubricant on there of some type. Whether it's grease or oil, I don't care. If you put together dry, it will lock up on you before you get very many miles in this thing. Because the main shaft is spinning all the time. If the motor's running, this main shaft is spinning. Which means it will burn up things if you don't have any lube on it. It's also why this bushing wears a lot, because it's always spinning. Okay, put that in there. Rotate that dog and the groove until it's up top. You got a single key right here to put in. Now you got to make sure the key does not go on too far. Where's the ratchet gear at? Alright, what did I do with the gear? There it is. So if the key goes in too deep, you won't be able to put the gear in here. The ratchet gear will be held in. This here will be held in and will not engage in here because the key keeps it from coming over. So you got to make sure you put the key in far enough. This just has one groove on it, so you got to put it in there where it belongs. So before I tighten anything down, I always make sure the ratchet gear can go up into the ratchet itself and get fully engaged. Just a good thing to check for. You give it a light tap, make sure it's all the way on the key. Seems to be. And just make sure that's fully engaged. The lock has a little tab right there that goes into the hole. I'm holding against that spring tension in there to keep everything from moving. And then you put your nut on there. For some reason this nut has very few threads to work with, I don't know why. Doesn't want to go on either. Threads don't want to go on. So we'll turn the nut 180, try it again. There it goes, a little better. So we have some issues there. Besides Scooby down there making all that noise. See, we don't have a full engagement of the shaft and the nut, so something is too thick or the main shaft's too short. Not sure what the issue is. When we tighten it up, we'll see. Those threads might be bad because there wasn't that many threads and it was torqued on pretty tight, I bet. Which is what you want. Now if you put it in two gears at once, it'll only rotate so far. So the threads are a little short. See, it's below the surface, so you're short on threads. Okay, make sure this gear moves freely. Make sure it fully engages like it is. Rotate it, make sure it does it more in one spot. Seems to be good. Okay, this lock tab here, you just fold it over with a chisel. And that'll do it. So if you take it out of gear, you'll be able to turn it. So here's where we had the lock tab on there before. So we can reapply it in the same spot if we want, or we can go to a different spot and start over. That one looks pretty beat up. That's probably good for one more time in that one spot. Let's see if it'll fold over. Flat punch and hold it, knock it over the rest of the way. I think that's it for that time. Okay, make sure it all works again. Appears to be working good. Okay. Transmission works. Alright, that's good to go. Now, go back over here. We got a shift fork shaft we got to deal with right here. And we got to put a little snap ring in there also to hold it in. It used to be sitting over here on the bench somewhere. There it is. It's one of these slide-on jobs. Too blown up. So this slides in. It's like a C-clip style here. So it goes in this groove right here. So it goes on there pretty tight. We'll see how good it goes in there. Okay, this has a little O-ring right here. So see if the O-ring is chewed up pretty bad or if it's still usable. Appears to be usable. It's going to shear the rubber off if you replace it anyway, so as long as there's still something there to go against, we should be good. So we're going to put some new sealer on it though. Okay. Let's put it over to this point here. I put my sealer on it, stick it in the hole. This is our sealer. 3-bond. Make a layer all the way around it. Okay, now we just shove it in the hole here. It doesn't matter how it rotates as long as it goes in. Push in far enough to get the clip in there. And this here pushes in here, holds it in. Now this here I think is going to be pretty far in there. Okay, go up again until it hits the stop there. Now we try to shove the clip in there. So it goes like this as you put it in, so it's got pressure on it. It shoves the shaft up against the inside the case over here. The hell fell. It wasn't this gasket, that wasn't it. Oh, something fell down the ground. Quick play back the video, see what it was. Okay, so try to shove this in there straight down. Easier said than done when pliers are worn out. Going. And it's dark as hell because there's no light on this side of the tranny. Can't see if it's even going in all the way. Obviously it doesn't want to go in. Use just an E-clip that I use instead of the E-clip. This is the one that was in it. The shaft keeps coming out as you're trying to shove in there. Pliers won't do it. Try a hammer. As long as you can't get in there, there's crap in the way. Not gonna work. Gotta get gravity to help you, not hurt you. Problem is my finger's in the way. The dowel's in the way. I want to hit right where the dowel is and can't hit there. Get a smaller hammer. Smaller diamond hammer fits in tight spots better. So the clip took off as soon as I moved. Thought I heard something take off. So where'd that clip go? 'Cause I wasn't here watching it. Did it go in the tranny? Or did it take off across the countryside? That's fun, because I don't know. Well, I know they can't not be in the tranny or it'll destroy it. Alright. We get to go on a clip hunt. We'll do that. Okay, I haven't found a clip. Damn it. So I have no idea where it went to. So I'm just making sure there's nothing inside the tranny I can see. You blow around to make sure it's not in. If anything was in there, it would have blew out. So you want to make sure you're 100% sure it's not in there before you put it together. I'm 100% sure it's not in there. Okay, this is the old clip here that was destroyed from the other project. So this clip did not want to go on there. Usually it's an E clip that goes in there, which is a straight flat clip I have no problem with. I don't know if this is supposed to be in here or not, but all I know is that new one would not go in. And it took off to the countryside. This one here is used. So let's see what happens here. Okay, so this is the used one. It's in there, it looks like. Now I want to make sure that's not going to come off easily. So we're going to try to take it off. See how it's rotating but does not want to come off. That means it's stuck in there pretty good. Okay, so I'm satisfied that'll stay put. It's got the shaft tilt in there. I can rotate it around this way. It is not moving. Get pretty good tension on it. Just trying to move it up. Okay, I'm going to say that's probably good to go. Alright, so I'm going to stand this thing up on end. Put it in gear. Take our nut off. Take off my spacer. And then we have a sprocket over here that goes on here. Right there. There's a lock tab. And we have a nut with an O-ring on it. That gets tightened down. Now we got the dogs, we're engaged in gear, 2 gears at once. So as you tighten this nut down, at some point we'll tighten everything down. Right now we're pulling the gear up down in here. There, we're getting tighter now. And we jammed in 2 gears at once so this doesn't rotate, so I can tighten it down. You do have the advantage of doing that when your transmission is being assembled. Okay, we're pretty tight now with that. Okay, make sure we're on reverse to tighten. This is backwards spread. You get a couple of zips, get it tight. Okay, that's tight. Okay, I like leaving a low gear. Take it out of that gear right there and make sure everything rotates freely. Appears to be rotating freely. We'll try 3rd gear now. Drop that one down. So you didn't rotate when you're 2 gears at once. 3rd gear seems to be working good. Okay, so everything's nice and free. If you want to try neutral, you just put them both together up there and you try neutral. Okay, so we have to put the lock tab on. So this is going backwards this way, so you want to make sure that the lock tab is holding the nut in the backwards direction. Like that. See, this here is trying to keep the nut tight so it won't unscrew, because tightening is loose on this job. So it's backwards. If you put it over on this one here, it's going to want to tighten the nut like a normal nut. Well, that would be loosening in this case. That would actually let it be. The nut can flop between here and here, so the nut can actually get pretty damn loose before that lock tab would even do anything. With the lock tab right here, it can't move because it'd have to tighten itself to get loose. You ain't gonna do that. This one here, you can do it almost in the middle. The middle allows some fluctuation. Right here, it can't move at all. It's full tight. You got the most amount of holding power on that spot. One of the tricks you learn. Okay, so this here, we're going to go ahead and goop up this shift shaft seal right here with a 3-bond. In case you know which 3-bond it is, it's that one. So we're going to put that in there. We'll let that sit up overnight also, and that'll let this seal in there real good so it won't leak. And then tomorrow we'll put the ratchet lid cover on, or the cow pie cover on, and button up the top side. We'll let him worry about the kicker cover. He's gonna, unless he brings more hardware over tomorrow. Remember, he left the hardware. We don't have it. Okay, smear it around. Make sure there's no spot that's not coated, and make sure there's no air bubbles. 3-bond does not like to be done again on top of itself, so it's kind of a one-time deal. So you make sure you got a nice good layer in there. See how there's like a hole right there though? I don't like that hole. So I don't know if it's sucking in right now into a air gap, which is probably what's happening, or I didn't put enough sealer on it. Either way, we're going to put a little extra right there. It hasn't hardened up yet, so we still got time to put some more on there. Roll it around, make sure there's no air gap again. So once it flashes off in about 5 to 10 minutes, it doesn't like to re-stick again. At this temperature it'll be like 10 or 15 minutes, but summertime it's like 2 minutes. So now you can see it's completely filled in. It'll self-level overnight as long as you keep the tranny vertical. If you kick the transmission like that, it'll drain that way. So find yourself a nice level spot to be. It'll level out. You can see how this one leveled out last night. It's still got a sealer, even though it looks like there's a edge right there. It's got sealer all in that edge, so it won't leak. You can see there's a couple air bubbles. There's an air bubble there, a little small one there, and one over here. But as long as it's completely encapsulated, it won't pop. Now, if you go in there and dick around with it and it pops, it'll leak. Maybe, if it gets past the O-ring. So you try to fix all these leaks you can when you got the tranny apart. Alright, so that looks like it's about it for this tranny. So all I gotta do now is put the top cover on there and give it back to customer. So I don't know if I'll show any more of that or not, but it's pretty much all done at this point. And Scooby's all done too. Well, maybe not. He's sleeping, so he'll be good for another couple more hours. I get some work done. It's 11 o'clock right now, so early night. As long as I'm working, I'm not getting too cold, but it's cold out. But, oh well. Alright, that's it for now.